Hello everyone, this is Cheeseburg. Today we'll be breaking down Act 1 of The Deer Hunter, The Lake South, The River North. This is to serve as a beginner's guide to the lore of the series. I am not claiming to be any master of the subject. I'll link my sources in the description below. For those of you unfamiliar with The Deer Hunter, which I'm assuming is most of you, it's a prog fusion band devoted to telling narratives through their albums. Their two big series at the time of writing are The Deer Hunter and Antimine. The focus of the series will be The Deer Hunter. Before we get into it, I want to shout out the whole Deer Hunter band and Casey Crescenzo, the lead singer of the band. If you have not listened to these albums, I highly recommend them. At the very least, listen to the songs as I discuss them throughout the video. Let's quickly go over what is the Deer Hunter. The Deer Hunter started as Casey Crescenzo's side project. He was originally a member of the band The Receiving End of Sirens before becoming his main band in 2006. That's about how far we're going to get into the real-life history of the band. As far as the story goes, the concept of the Deer Hunter's 5 acts tells the story of a boy named Hunter, or the Deer Hunter, born at the turn of the 19th century, who will live a life of pain and meet an untimely death. Act 1 serves as a prologue to the story. Now let's get into the dissection. Track 1, Battesimo del Fuoco. Sorry about the pronunciation, I'm not Italian. Battesimo del Fuoco is the beginning of this long saga. It translates to Baptism of Fire. The narrator, presumably speaking to the mother, who we will later know as Miss Terry, who births a child with a cost. This child is prophesied to lead to the eventual death of Miss Terry, and she will be doomed to a hell of an afterlife, while the boy is presumably named Hunter will be doomed to a hell of the living. The second verse alludes that the boy's sins could be washed away in the waters of the lake, which could be a metaphor to the pure upbringing away from the city. But because of Miss Terry's inevitable death, it will lead Hunter waiting alone by the tree, which will lead him into a life of sin. The flame is gone and the fire remains is a motif heard many times throughout the story, basically meaning although Miss Terry is dead, the fire, which is Hunter, will continue to burn. Track 2 is one of 2 instrumental tracks. There's not much we can discuss in this track, so we're going to move on straight to track 3. Track 3, City Escape. This is the beginning of the story, the inciting incident, if you want to call it that. This song follows the story of Miss Terry. We learn that she is a prostitute trying to escape her employers, who are intent on injuring her or even worse, killing her. An already injured and maimed Miss Terry finds a river and jumps in, with the water being her only escape. She manages to evade her pursuers. At one point we hear the line, "Places, people, the stage is set." This is an occasional fourth wall break, which is used as a tool by the narrator, or as we'll soon see, the oracles. The oracles are the only supernatural aspect in the series. The best way to describe them is an omniscient chorus of Greek-style tragedy, similar to the Fates in Macbeth. Track 4, The Inquiry of Miss Terry. As Miss Terry escapes the city, she catches a train. She is finally able to have alone time with her thoughts. It's revealed that she is pregnant and chose to escape in order to raise her son. She wants to raise her son away from the sin of her past life. She partakes in an internal struggle, trying to reconcile her past with her future. She's worried a woman like she was in the past won't be able to raise a moral son, which could be a projection of the father. This is shown to be one of Miss Terry's biggest worries, that her son will be indecent and prey upon women like her. Moving past these feelings, she decides she's going to raise her son properly and teach him how to treat a woman. We see this in the line, "My love, I'll carry you and I'll teach you how to treat that leading lady that you'll meet," which could be a reference to a character we later meet in Act 2. In order for her to teach her son this, she must shelter him from her past and former career. In this song, the Dime is also mentioned. This is the name of the brothel that Miss Terry used to work at. Track 5, 1878. This song is essentially a montage of Miss Terry raising Hunter. The boy comes up to be quite naive as a product of his mother sheltering him, almost too much. Throughout the song, we hear her struggling to make ends meet and her contemplations of going back to be a prostitute or even suicide. as we hear in the line, fell in another hole for the knife, loss of control for the knife, which is repeated throughout the song. 1878 is also the year the church was established, which will be a major player in this story. Track 6, The Pimp and the Priest. This is where we meet the primary antagonist of the series, who we will be calling PP. He is a priest at the church, but as the sun goes down, he is the man who runs the dime. I'm pretty sure while he's taken the role of the pimp, he's disguised, but I'm not 100% sure. PP meets vulnerable women at the church and preys upon them to get them into the dime. The connection between spiritual and sexual satisfaction is prominent here, but even more twisted as you consider the manipulation tactics used to get the women into the dime. We hear the line, "Take me to the river, sing softly, sing me to the lake, sing softly, bring me to the lake," which once again uses the symbolism of the water of the lake and the river being used to wash away sins. My sources suggest this represents the false sense of salvation that church provides. Track 7, His Hands Match His Tongue. These tracks are the first ones we hear from Hunter's point of view. He is no longer a young child and begins to question the world around him. Hunter, however, will receive enlightenment a few times throughout the story. Hunter senses the weight of his mother's past, although he is unsure of her true nature. All he knows is that she's hiding something. He wants to ask his mother these questions, but he is apprehensive. He wants to help her more than anything, and he even has the realization that his mom won't be here forever. And will soon learn that the consequences of never asking these questions and staying so naive lead Hunter down a very similar track to his mother. This leads us to our last track, track 8, The River North. This is a melancholic instrumental track. We have to take a look at the YouTube version of this song where we have another fourth wall break, with an applause-ridden orchestra swelling, sweeping us into Act 2, serving a reminder that the story barely begun. Thank you all for watching. This was a blast of a video to make. I'll be planning to make videos on Acts 2 through 5 as well. Those will take longer, however, since those albums are almost double in length. I know this is a departure from my anime and manga content, but this is truly a beautiful story, and I hope to bring more light to it. Thank you all again, especially if you made it this far. Peace out, and have a good one.